Hello, my yogis. Please, 2 blocks or sturdy books for today's practice. I want us to invite the sensation of space. So go ahead, sit comfortably on your block, let your hips raise up. Let's take some alternate nostril breathing. So you'll press your thumb into the right side, exhale out the left, inhale the left, and then squeeze your left nostril with your pointer finger, exhale out the right, and then inhale. And go ahead and keep doing that for a few moments. So we talk about the elements sometimes in yoga, like water and fire, and space is the 5th element. So as we go through this practice, I want you to recognize your vast expansiveness. Right? They've proven we're made from stardust. So space isn't just about the actual air around us that we can take up and fulfill, but about what's in us. Come to completion with your alternate nostril breathing. And just sit in a meditation. Perhaps you pick one area of your physical body where you need more space. Or you pick an emotional part of you where you need more space. Space for forgiveness or space for joy. And then allow that thought, whatever that is for you, to become the intention for your practice. My intention was that I am creating space through my middle, back, and sides. And as that physical space opens up, so does my emotional capacity for love. And then perhaps you make this an I am statement. I am love. I am open. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, twist to the right. So you can bring your right hand to your sacrum and your left hand to your knee for a gentle twist. Inhale back up. Exhale, twist the other side. Inhale back up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take some cat-cow pose on your block. So you're just seated and you're just rotating the spine one way and then flexing the other. I guess it's not a rotation, it's a flexion. Let your breath be intentional here. And then spiral your rib cage over your hips. It might look a little funny, but it feels really good. And I know half you girls used to do this up in the club, so don't lie to me. Anyways, clasp your hands behind your back, lift your heart up, and then bring your hands, bend your right elbow. So your left hand is coming to your right hip. And then drop your right ear to your right shoulder. If the hands don't clasp easily behind the back or they can't make it all the way around to your hip, you just leave them centered and clasped behind your back. Just a different variation of a neck opening here. Coming back to center, reset, and then twisting your hands to the left and dropping your left ear to your left shoulder. So the arms are not straight, right? They're bending, they're wrapping around you. Release, arms up overhead. And go ahead and grab your blocks, come to the top of your mat. We're coming into all fours with hands on the blocks. And once you've set up and you feel nice and stable, press up onto your toes so your knees are hovering. You're activating your lower belly, pulling everything up and in. And then drop back down. Inhale, taking a cow pose. Exhale, take a cat pose with your hands on the blocks. Come back to neutral. Retuck your toes, lift your knees back up. Just a really delicate way to activate the Uddiyana Bandha, right, the lower belly. Then drop down and take your cat and your cow. It's always cow cat, but we say cat cow. Do you notice that? Anyways, coming back to center, pick up onto your toes again. Knees are hovering, creating space here and now in your spine. Drop down, cow pose. Exhale for cat. Coming into now a bent leg Vashisthasana side plank. So left arm down, right arm up, left knee down, right leg extended. Reach overhead, take one big circle, and then go the opposite way. So your right arm is rotating through in the shoulder. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, expand. Now straight leg, grab your toe if you can. And then knee to elbow, grab your toe. One more time, knee to elbow, grab your toe. Plant your right foot onto the ground. Lift your torso up for gate pose. So you're just gonna lean to the right side, getting a left side body stretch. Really twisting, if you can, your left shoulder away from the body so you get a little chest opening. Cartwheel the arms, coming back to all fours. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Blocks are still under your hands at this point. Other side. So you're going to come to Vashisthasana with the knee down on the right hand. We'll take a big circle with the left arm, one direction, and then the other. Make sure you're stable, and then inhale, left leg up. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, expand. Exhale, hand to foot. Expand. Knee to elbow and out. Hand to toe. One more time each. Staying in your breath. Stay lifted on your exhale. That's your inhale, sorry. And then come to gate pose. Same thing, rotating the shoulders behind you so they're stacking on top of each other. Stay in your breath, cartwheel your arms. You know what to do here. We're gonna take a cat-cow to wash it all out. I'm gonna try to make the effort to say cow-cat. Anyways. When you're complete there, tuck your toes, let your knees hover again. Extend your right leg long and then bring your knee to your elbow. And then extend long. and then knee to elbow. You're still hovering on that left leg though, right? And then when you've done 3 on the right, you'll do 3 on the left. It's this weird, interesting little like hover crunch thingy. It's cool. Coming back to both toes together, hovering. You've got this. Drop onto your knees. And let's take a child's pose with the blocks under your arms. And you get to choose how high up the blocks go. There's an opportunity to create space here, right? Across the chest and the upper back. Hands on your blocks, you're going to take your push-up on the tops of your toes. So your toes are not curled under, you're on the tops of them. And then roll back into your down dog. You can remove the blocks from under your hands if you'd like. I found that was a little too intense on my shoulders, so I just did down dog on the ground. Intentionally pedal out through your legs, staying for 3 breaths. So you'll bend the right for 3 breaths and then roll through and bend the left for 3 breaths. One more time. Come up onto your toes. Broaden your feet, walk your hands back to your feet for a ragdoll variation. Keep your hands hanging heavy instead of grabbing opposite elbows, and just kind of wiggle your weight side to side in your legs. So it's not about swaying the torso, it's wiggling the legs. And then if you want to grab the back of your neck and give some length, inhale, rise up, hands to heart center, Samastitihi. Bring your big toes to touch, arms down, palms forward, standing at attention, taking up space. You are allowed to take up space. Maybe your eyes are closed. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Take your halfway lift and then walk your hands back to the top of your mat for your high push-up. Pause. And then lower down, all the way down. Drop onto your belly. Take a cobra. Drop your forehead back to the ground before you pick up your hips, down dog. We're going to do these kind of reverse salutations. So walk your hands back to your feet. Taking your forward fold here, maybe you rock forward and backward on your feet to understand the weight of your body, and then inhale, rise up. Exhale, Samastitihi. Bring your feet to touch. Stand in your power. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Take your halfway lift as you walk your hands to the top of your mat. High push-up. Lower all the way down. Lift your heart, cobra. Tap your forehead down, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. So we're not rushing into up dog because that's not where we're going today. Walk your hands back, forward fold. Inhale, rise up. Samastitihi. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, walk your hands to your high push-up. Lower down slowly. Lift your chest up for cobra. Tap your forehead down, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. We're gonna do 2 more of these with a variation to come. Walk your feet to your hands. Hands to feet. We're going backwards. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take your halfway lift, and then walk your hands to the top of your mat for your high push-up. Lower down, belly all the way to the ground. Lifting up for cobra. Maybe this time you bend your knees. Tap your forehead back down. Downward facing dog. So a different variation there, right? Stepping your hands to your feet. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, Tadasana. Forward fold. Halfway lift, walk your hands out. High push-up. Lower all the way down. Lifting your heart up for cobra, elbows extend if you can. Bend your knees. One day your head will touch your toes again, I promise. Tap your forehead back down. Downward facing dog. Last one, walk your hands to your feet. Halfway lift, forward fold. Rise up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Walk your hands out to your high push-up. Pause. Low push-up. Lift your torso up. Same thing as before. Bend your knees. Maybe your toes touch your head. Drop your knees back down. Tap your forehead down. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Coming onto your knees. Go ahead and take a child's pose. See if you can become aware of the difference in your body already. Just these few minutes into practice. Go ahead and grab your blocks. We're going to take puppy pose with your elbows on the blocks. So you'll take the blocks to the highest level, drop your elbows onto the blocks. Your hands will touch, your thumbs will come to the base of your neck. So elbows are bent. And then drop your chest through. You get to determine how intense this is by where your knees are. The closer in, the less intense. The further back, the more. And come from a place of inquiry. Where do you feel the opening? What could you relax to give yourself a deeper opening? To come out of the pose, gently straighten your arms, pressing into your elbows to help lift your torso. Remove the blocks. And you guessed it, take a cow-cat to reset the spine. Downward facing dog. Step your feet to your hands, halfway lift, forward fold. Grab your block, rise up. Hands at heart center, squeezing the block together. Make sure your feet are at true north, 12 o'clock. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Now exhale, hinge into warrior 3. Maybe the arms extend overhead with the block. And then hinge back. You're gonna just swing your leg through, back up to single leg raise. And then tick-tock it back for warrior 3. One more time, hinging forward, and then hinging back. Pause, and come back to the center. Set it down, shake it out. Let me tell you, my ankle was on fire. All right, reset. You're gonna put the block behind your left knee. So you're gonna bend your leg. My block always falls out and I have terrible balance, so there's that. So reset, block behind your left knee, and then you're just gonna take little baby pulses behind you. So your right foot is almost like it's on the wall behind you, and you're just pressing up and back, up and back. You can take your hands to your hips, you can take your hands to heart center. You can move slowly or quickly. We're just activating that hamstring back there. And then release, shake all that out. Come back to center, squeezing the block between your hands. Shift your weight into your left foot. Inhale, right leg extends in front of you. And then exhale, warrior three. Extend your arms overhead if you'd like. And coming back through, hands to heart center, right leg in front. Sweep it back. One more time each side. Inhale, lifting your right leg. Exhale, hinging. And then release. Shake it all out. Taking your block, this time behind your left leg. So bending your left knee behind you, putting the block there. And again, taking the pulses on this side. You choose again how quickly or slowly to do so. All right, shake it out. My block flew away, as it does. Coming to the top of your mat, Samastitihi. Inhale your arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let your palms come back down. Standing at attention. Inhale up, exhale forward fold. Hands to the blocks for a halfway lift. High push-up, you're on the block. You're still in high push-up. Now bring your right leg up to the outside of your block for a lizard pose. You can drop your left knee, and I just want you to kind of wiggle side to side, getting into your right hip. Then coming back, half Hanumasana. Take your blocks with you under your hands. And same thing, wiggle side to side, and then windshield wiper your right foot. And then coming back into your lizard, bend your left knee and reach behind, but don't grab it. I took this from Mel, I loved it. Coming back to your down dog. When we grab our foot, right, we're just kind of like forcing flexibility. Whereas if we're just using our muscle to pull it back, we're activating. Come back to the blocks, high push-up on the blocks. Left leg comes forward for your lizard pose. Same thing as before, threading through the hips, kind of wiggling side to side. And then half Hanumasana, straightening your left leg, bending into your right leg, threading through side to side. Oh, there goes a doggo. And then windshield wiper your foot side to side. Re-bend into your left leg, bend your right leg, twisting your left arm towards your foot, but not grabbing it. Coming back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, step through Warrior Two. Stay in your breath, pressing through the outside edge of your left foot. Reverse your palm, reverse your warrior. One more breath here. Humble warrior. So clasp your hands behind your back. Bow inside of your right leg, but it's like between your hips. And then as much as you can, remove your hands from your low back. If you can't easily clasp, don't worry about that. Coming to the back edge of your mat now, Skandasana. So bending your back knee, flexing your front foot, and then walk through to the other side. Let your hands be on the ground. We're just warming up. And just keep kind of going back and forth from side to side. You can stay as high or low as you like. Do one more time on each side. Easy twist. Right leg bent. Come to side plank, Vashisthasana. Left hand down, right hand up. Using your power here to lift your hips higher, bend your knee to your elbow and extend. Bend knee to elbow, extend. Last time, bend knee to elbow, extend. Downward facing dog, good work. Inhale, left leg up. Step through Warrior Two. One more breath. Really settle in. Make sure your feet are good. You're pressing through the outside edge of your back foot to help you stabilize all the way up into your core. Reverse your palm, reverse your warrior. Feeling a deep opening in your inner thighs. Coming back to center, humble warrior. Clasp your hands behind your back, switch opposite pinky on top. Then again, if you can, you bring your arms away from your body. Release Skandasana to the back of your mat. So you're bending your right leg and straightening your left. Maybe you take your arms to a T or to heart center, and then switch sides. So last time we just kind of went side to side. This time add a new level of space. What can you do differently in your body? Maybe you take an arm bind. Just let your breath guide you. Try to mirror each side. Coming back to the top of your mat for easy twist. Right hand down, left hand up, and then side plank. Knee to elbow, expand. Knee to elbow, expand. One more time, knee to elbow. Reach back out. Downward facing dog. Good work. Pedal out here, take a couple breaths. Inhale, right leg up. Step through for lizard pose, but keep your back knee lifted. If you have to drop it, that's fine, but the work here is to keep it lifted. If you can drop onto your elbows, do so. Maybe you put the blocks under your elbows. Inviting in a deep opening. Inviting in space, right? Now go ahead and drop your back knee, come off of your elbows, and try to put your right shoulder underneath your right knee. Stepping up to the top of your mat now for Malasana. If you'd like to take crow, take crow. If not, take some stretches. Figure out how to invite space in your yogi squat. Stay for your breath, and we'll meet standing at the top of the mat. Samastitihi. Recall in the intention from the beginning of your practice. Make sure it's still here today, now, in this moment. Inhale, lift your left leg up. You can keep your knee bent or extend your leg out in front. It's up to you. And then we'll take a twist. So you're going to twist your torso towards your left leg. Left arm goes to the back of the room. And then land in your crescent lunge. Pause here. Warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, humble warrior. One more breath. Release your arms, Skandasana, left knee bent. One more breath, coming to the top of your mat, easy twist, right knee is bent, left hand down, right arm up. Side plank. Take a variation here. Maybe you grab your foot and extend your leg out in front of you. Back to side plank. Down dog. Good. We'll do all of that on the other side. Exhale out this side. Let it go. Inhale, left leg up. Step through into your lizard pose. Right leg flying, grabbing your blocks, coming onto your elbows if possible. And then if you'd like to play with putting your elbow under your knee or your shoulder under your knee, do that. You can do it with your back knee lifted or bent. It's really up to what you think your body can do today. We're just making space, that's all. Rise up into your Malasana squat. And play with crow pose or stay in Malasana. Ever since I broke my foot, I have been really scared of crow pose. So I lift my feet for like a microsecond and then I'm super concerned about them like breaking somehow when I put them on the floor. It's illogical, I'm working on it. Come back to your yogi squat. Tailbone down, crown of the head up. Drive through your feet to lift into standing. Top of the mat, Samastitihi. Inhale, right leg up. Knee bent or straight. Try to mirror what you did on the other side. Take your twist, twisting towards your right knee. Inhale, back to center. Bring your leg back for crescent lunge. Open warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left side body long. Exhale, clasp your hands behind your back, bow forward, humble warrior. Skandasana, coming to the back of your mat, right knee bends, left leg straight. Flex your left foot. Crawling back to the top of your mat, easy twist. Left arm up. Side plank. So you're on your right hand. Take your left hand to your left foot and extend it out in front of you if possible. Back to side plank. Downward facing dog. Good work. Drop onto your knees. And go ahead and take a cat-cow here to rinse out your spine. A cow-cat. Gotta make space for me to get that right. I'll do a couple more. Any movement that your body needs right now, right? Maybe you need hip circles or some kind of barrel rolls to the chest. That's totally up to you. Returning to a neutral spine. Inhale, your right arm is going to come up, so you're opening up your chest towards the wall. Exhale, thread the needle through. Drop your cheek to the ground. Right shoulder on the mat. Take any arm variation you prefer. Bring your left hand back to support, pushing you up so you can rotate again, right arm up to the ceiling, back down to the ground. Inhale, left arm up, taking that twist, and then exhale, thread the needle through, cheek to the ground. Same thing as the other side, taking any arm variation you like. You can clasp your hands together, you can take a half bind. You can keep your bent elbow pressing into the ground to force a deeper rotation. It's your practice. One more breath. Inhale, open the left side body. And come back to center. Take a child's pose. Again, coming from a place of expansiveness, of openness, of space. Does something inside of you have more room after this much practice? After this much breath? All you have to do here is breathe. One more round of breath, and then make your way up to seated. Just take your blocks with you. Sitting up nice and straight, bring your arms out in front of you like zombie arms. Take some wrist circles. Both directions, and then flick your fingers like you've got something dirty on your hands and you want to flick it off. And just keep flicking and flicking, and then bring your arms out to the side and keep flicking and flicking. I had a big brother, so maybe I'm like flicking him on the head. We don't know. Just kidding. And then arms overhead, flick, 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 flick. With all of the typing and texting we do, our forearms get really tight, which then by default makes our neck tight, which then gives us headaches. So shake that all out. And just do some wrist flexion here. So bend your wrist down, use your other hand to gently press, creating some space in one forearm, and then switch hands, create space in the other forearm. And then it's easier for me to be on my knees to do this, but you do it your way. Bring your hands to the ground and just kind of gently rock forward and backward. And then take your hands out sideways and kind of sway side to side, and then take really gentle circles, just giving those muscles some dynamic stretch. And then turn your fingers back towards your knees, only as far as possible, and gently lean away. So you're leaning back, opening up. You're just creating space. then gently release. You can turn one palm upside down and stretch that way. And then switch hands. And release. Come up, kind of shake that out, do some shoulder rolls. We're going to do some upper back strengthening. Take the block between your hands and squeeze. Squeeze everything. I want the back of your shoulder blades, like the space between your shoulder blades, to quiver. And then release. Bring it back up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Elbows are out wide. Squeeze your shoulder blades down and together. Activity here and now. And release. One more time. Squeeze everything in. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You should be shaking a little bit. You're so powerful. And then release. Move your block to the side. We're going to take dolphin pose, hence the need to kind of activate that upper back. So elbows are like at a number 11. You can measure that distance if you need to. Coming up, lift your right leg up. And then your left. Both feet on the ground, right leg up. And then do 3 presses into your toes. So you're lifting your left heel. And then switch sides. 3 presses, lifting right heel. 1, 2, 3. Both feet on the ground. Drop onto your knees. Go ahead and shake that out. Dolphin pose can be a lot, especially if your upper back is really tight. Setting up again, dolphin pose. Popping up. Stay in your breath. Tuck your chin to your chest if you can. And then release. Coming down onto the belly. Keep the elbows the same. Sphinx pose. So the idea here is to broaden the collarbones. And you want to kind of pull the rib cage away from the hips. And then drop forehead to the mat. Take a break. Reset your legs so that way your pinky toes are also on the ground. And then come back up into your Sphinx pose. So you want the whole foot on the ground. Sometimes we kind of roll inward, which creates undue pressure on the low back. So as we rotate out and make space for the inner thigh bones to rotate out, that gives us space in the low back. Drop your forehead down. Take your right arm to a goal post. We're going to take fallen angel. So left leg will come over, left arm will come over, and all of your weight is on your right side body with a stretch happening across the chest. Come back to center, other side, left side. So your right leg will lift, left elbow is at a goalpost. Come back to the center. We're going to take bow ties. So you're going to cross one arm under the other. So your arms are out straight under your chest. And then for me, I need to put a block under my forehead. But if you can just reach your forehead to the ground, you'll just rest over your arms in that way. Deep shoulder opening here. Creating space in the scapula. Raise up, other arm goes on top. Taking the time to negotiate, noticing if you're favoring or not giving yourself an even stretch. And same thing in our Sphinx pose, right? We still want the lower legs intentional, maybe not active, but definitely trying to get your pinky toes on the ground. Gently rise up. Move your block. Come to a belly savasana for a moment. Just feeling the openness in your body. Arms by your side, or you can have them under your forehead. Feel your belly pressing into the mat, creating space. Moving slowly, flip onto your back, take your block with you, and let's take a restorative bridge pose. So, feet are roughly hips width apart. Press into your heels to lift your hips and put the block underneath your sacrum. And you get to choose the height. I want you to envision space in your psoas, in the front of your hip flexor. Space in your low back. Like envision the cosmos between your vertebrae. Create space between your shoulder blades by tucking your shoulders together underneath you. So that should let your scapula lay flat. Take 2 more rounds of cleansing breath here. And when you're complete with that, you'll lift up your hips and remove your block. Keep your left leg where it is and simply bend your right leg in for half happy baby. Become aware if both hip bones are still flat on the ground, and try to come from a place of equanimity where they're both equally pressing. And then release. Left side, half happy baby. Creating space in your hip and groin. Letting your breath bring ease to your body. And then release. We are going to be coming into frog pose, full frog pose on the floor. So if that is not accessible to you, you can take frog pose on the wall, where you get your tailbone lined up with the wall and have your knees bent, feet flat on the wall. Or you can stay in an extended happy baby. If you are taking frog pose, I like to bend my mat in half to give my knees some support. And the long-term goal here is to have your knees bent at a 90-degree angle, feet flexed, hips flat on the ground. Long-term goal. Not everything happens today, but you are actively making space in your body right now. Space for whatever it is you intended to become during this practice. And this is a very intense pose, so I encourage you to breathe to help keep it as restful as possible. Asking yourself what you can give up right now to lead you closer to your goal of your space, of your openness, of your expansiveness. Part of the Baptiste methodology says to give up what you must. I have to give up my anxiety probably 100 times a day. To come out of this pose, you can pull forward and then just windshield wiper your knees, your feet side to side. Press yourself up, unroll your mat. Coming onto your back, knees bent. Windshield wiper your knees side to side, really big. And then drop to the right for deer pose. It's a variation, right? Reclined deer pose. So it's a supine twist. And you can take your right foot and drop it over your left knee to help deepen the stretch. Letting the low back rotate here. Your left hip is now rotating outward, whereas when we were in frog pose, there was an internal rotation. So just a nice counter stretch. Gently release, come back to center. Windshield wiper again, side to side, and then fall over to the left side. And you can take your arms to a T or goal post. The goal is to keep your shoulders flat on the ground. You can also take your block under your knee if it's kind of painful. Just allowing space from the low back into the hip. Exhale. A moment of surrender. Come back to the center, moving slowly. For Savasana, since you've been using 2 blocks, go ahead and put the blocks right under your glute on the lowest setting, so your thighs are kind of lifted. It's just a nice little variation. It's good to do things differently sometimes. And as you settle in for your Savasana, I want to share with you a quote. You are the universe experiencing itself. begin the process of reawakening and come to a fetal position on your right side. And letting your breath be full and complete. Feeling the expansiveness of your lungs and diaphragm. Make your way up to a simple seat. You can keep your eyes closed, or you can have a soft gaze at the floor. As you seal in your practice, go ahead and let your palms face down, getting a little more nourishment from the universe. Take the time to acknowledge the death of your practice. What happened on the mat is over. You may bring your intention with you, but there is nothing for you to dwell on now. Inhale your arms overhead. Exhale your hands to heart center, and know that with each savasana, we are born again. Namaste. It's always my pleasure, my honor. Love you guys.